Hi there everyone, I'm Dave Carellin. I'm the head of PPC here at Dark Horse. Today I want to talk to you all about cookie consent configuration and the wider kind of scope of that, really about privacy. So privacy is going to be a huge topic in 2022. It already has been a bit in 2021, a bit before that, but 2022 really seems like it's going to be the time when Google in particular is going to be hammering this on us, and we've already insinuated that that's going to be the case. Now, a bit of background to this is Google as an industry has announced that it's going to start moving away from third-party cookies. Now, the estimated date for this is some point in 2023. It was going to be 2022 at some point, but it's knocked back a little bit. Now, we're all for privacy. There's nothing wrong with privacy. However, there's obviously a lot of consequences with this. The removal of third-party cookies also obviously is going to come with a loss of data, and data is absolutely crucial to advertisers. So this is very similar to the iOS updates that Facebook has endured in the previous year. The loss of data can really hurt. So Google's going to be moving towards like privacy-centric metrics, as they call them. So things like enhanced conversions, consent mode, and GA4. So this is all going to be very, very important in terms of being able to transition to that. But what's important is that we need to transition. Now, a lot of developers have heard as well the importance of privacy and how important it is to, start having the websites so they are as compliant as possible. Now, a lot of developers hear this and they basically jump the gun a little bit and they look for the most privacy compliant measures possible. So this is by setting up cookie consent forms, which are essentially the strictest they possibly can be. And this is preemptive. There's no need for it just yet. We aren't moving away from third-party cookies just yet. So this is preemptive. Now, unfortunately, what tends to happen when developers set this up is they don't tell anybody else. And what you can end up with, which has happened with a couple of clients now, is that you end up with them implementing these measures, not telling anybody, and then all of a sudden all the data drops off and no one is aware exactly why, because it's just a tick box that they've sorted on the website. Now, what this can lead to, as I've mentioned before, is a massive loss of data. So as an example here, you can see what would happen to the PPC traffic just at the end of December there. And this isn't just a PPC issue. It's also the same on organic. It loses data there as well. The way to spot it is that direct jumps up massively as well. But the thing is, even though these are reductions in traffic, they're not complete declines, they're not complete cliff edges. So they can be easily missed, particularly when it coincides with expected data. So for example, when you move out of December on a highly seasonal client, then that might be expected to an extent, so we can mask this, particularly if nobody tells you. So how this actually impacts PPC specifically, when the session data and more importantly the revenue data doesn't get tracked into Google Ads, what you end up with then in a very automated world, which we all live in with PPC, is that the bid strategies start to notice that there isn't enough revenue coming in and adjust themselves accordingly. As a result, that means that the spend is reduced back down because there aren't the observed amount of revenue and conversions actually coming through the system. So that can pull back your campaigns when in fact they're performing very well. So that is obviously a big issue and something that needs to be unpicked. So how you actually go about spotting this, again, is just to have a look for any big spikes in direct traffic. Obviously have a good communication going with the developer, so that not just anything between a developer and an end client should also be communicated with advertisers. It has a massive impact on advertisers and the data that's given that. It can be slightly mitigated in a sense with things like Google Consent Mode, which I mentioned before, but these tools aren't really, and Google will be the first probably to admit this, they aren't exactly where they need to be yet. They're still developing these tools and moving us all towards them. So the main solution in all of these cases is to revert it. Stop it, change it, get that the cookie consent configuration completely off and back to how it was. It will need to come at some point. I don't want to hide away from that fact. It's something that we are all going to have to transition towards. But when we get to that point where it's a forced issue and our hands are forced, then we would hope that Google's Google's solutions are going to be a lot more robust at that time. If they're a lot more robust, then that means that we don't need to worry about this. There'll be ways to get by the loss of data. So what it kind of amounts to at the minute is a lot of developers will think it's about, the first or the early bird catches the worm with this, and putting on the consent form is as early as possible, is as beneficial as possible. In fact, what it actually amounts to is a herd of gazelles and the first one jumping out at a pack of lions. We need to wait. It doesn't need to come yet.